Welcome to the Five and Dime on Where There's Wheels.
There's a play.
I'm Ian, your mid-complexity casual gamer,
I'm Stacey. I'm your non-gamer gamer.
and we are here tonight for our Five and Dime for the month of November 2024. Um, on Monday, we were live, and I will link it up in this corner here with our complete rundown of all the games we played. We tried something new this month, and now we're just going to quickly go over our favorite games, our top 5 and top 10, and tell you a little bit about why we think they ended up where they did, or what we really liked about that game. So moving on. First, as always, I'm gonna run down my 10 through 6 here quickly. With our monthly reviews, we only do our 5 and dime. We don't do honorable mentions. So I'm gonna quickly go through my 10 through 6 and get into our top 5. So my number 10 was a party game that I played at my school and introduced it to some other teachers on a wellness Wednesday game night for teachers, and that was Just One. It was a lot of fun. We had 7 people playing, and it was just hilarious fun. Some new people that had not joined previously. Um, Real quick in Just One, party game. You're giving one-word clues and hoping you don't match with other people, and someone's got to try and guess it based on the clues that they get. So that is Just One. Number 9 was another one that I played at my board game club with students in a new way, and this was Cover Your Assets. In Cover Your Assets, you are you're getting you're trying to make pairs to get assets and trying to hide the more expensive ones down below. And then I really enjoyed this one with the kids. We had only played it 2 players before, and they do have a really great 2-player variant for it. But I played it with 5 and 6, and it was just so much fun. And the kids really got into it, and they're enjoying it, and they've gotten it out every day since. I think that game is quickly becoming one of the most played games at Board Game Club
Wow.
this year. Like the group that's played it has played it almost every day since. They are really enjoying it, and so I'm excited to teach
It's
them
a
some
fun
other ones.
game.
It really is. Number 8, I played with expansions for the first time, and that is a little 18 card game called Rove, where you are trying to move different modules in different ways to make different configurations. I played with one of the expansions. It really added some really cool little things to it. I'm excited to get some more of the expansions to the table. That is Rove. Number 7 was a solo game I played, and that is Windmill Valley. I really liked all the different areas in Windmill Valley that you had to try and do. You had to try and upgrade your windmill gears. You had to try and plant tulips. You had to try and control the water, um, and hire people and stuff. And I thought the solo mode was really good in this one. Really easy to run. Not super easy to beat, depending on what cards come up for the AI and how quickly they're moving their stuff around. So it was a big game, but it was a very kind of casual feel and a kind of a just a nice little. It was a nice game, and I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to get to the table more. And my number 6 was a 2-player game that was new to us this month. It's been sitting on our wall for some time, and that was Hanami Koji. This was a head-to-head battling game, basically, where you're putting cards down on your side in different ways, discarding some, placing some face up in front of you, placing some. You're trying to earn the favor of geishas by earning the most points on your side, and sometimes you're laying cards down and the other person's taking some before you from your hand. So a lot of fun. A little bit, quite a bit of thinkiness to it, like a little bit of strategy. I really enjoyed that game. I think that's gonna be one that hits the table quite often. So that was my 10 through 6. And just a reminder before we move into our top 5, November was November, which meant the majority of the games we played were new to us. We had a lot of initial impressions in November, or they were played in a new way with expansions, or for me with my board game club in a higher player count, or introducing games to new people. So that was my 10 through 6, and a little reminder of what our month theme was. So getting on to our top 5, starting with Stacey.
My number 5 was a new game to me since it was November, and that was Fit to Print. I really liked Fit to Print, even though it stressed me out a little bit as a non-gamer gamer. I like that even though you're rushing to get all of the pieces put together, um, you still have an end, what do you call it?
An end goal, an end
Yeah,
game.
yeah, like an end goal that you're trying to match. I like the little desk. I like the artistry. It's a fun game. I think it would be a really good family game as well. And that was number 5, Fit to Print.
Nice. My number 5 was one that we played in a new way, and this was with expansions. I also did a live stream of this on a Wednesday with. It turned out to be Wednesday with the Wills instead of Wednesday with the Wills, because Stacey got sick, and that was Race to the Raft. And we played it some of the scenarios from the base game, but then we had gotten the Kickstarter, which added some other things. It added some new islands, added some new tiles, added some new little tokens that you had to try and get. Race to the Raft, basically, you are trying to rescue all the cats before the fire catches them by laying down cards and moving them across paths that match their color. And you are, you're just it's a fun cooperative game because there's limited communication. You can only say certain things. You can't give too much away. And it has a really good solo mode. And I enjoyed the couple plays we had with the expansion. We've got lots of scenarios to play in both the expansion and the um, base game as well. So that was Race to the Raft, my number 5.
And my number 4 is Disney Animated. I really liked this game. It's a cooperative game, so I like that part of it. You have to have a lot of communication in order to be successful at the end and to beat the villains before they beat you. Um, I love the animation of Disney animation. It's just a fun game where you do have to have a little bit of strategy working together on what you need to do. So I thought the artistry of the cards were really cute. I thought the theme of it was really good. And that was number 4, Disney animation.
Good choice. Good choice. I really enjoyed that one as well. My number 4 comes to us from Kids Table Board Gaming, and this was a new one to us this month, and this was Maki Master. Maki Master tile laying game where you are sharing a tile area. You're trying to make different configurations of the ingredients for sushi to fulfill your orders. And you have some cards that can allow you to manipulate things a little differently, maybe take stuff off, add stuff to the top, move stuff around. I thought this was a really clever game. It was a lot of fun. We love our tile laying games. As you will see in our list, it looks like we've got some tile laying already going on. Um, I really did enjoy this one. It has a really good solo mode as well, which is always a bonus if there's an easy to run solo mode for a game that I think we'll probably play mostly 2 player. But when we get it out, I'll probably get a solo game in. So I really like that. That was Maki Master by Kids Table Board Gaming.
Good game.
My number 4.
I like that one. My number 3, I have no idea who makes it, but it's really fun. And it's a press your luck game. It's Strike. Um, Strike, you open up the box and you have a little arena and you roll your dice. And it's press your luck on how hard you want to roll the dice. If you want to roll them soft, if you want to kind of whack the
Chuck them
other
in.
dice
Chuck them on in.
to get them to roll to a different number. Um, the person with the most dice, when the first person runs out of dice and the
They
other
lose.
person has all the dice, yeah, then the game's over and the person with the most dice wins. It's a fast game. It doesn't take forever to set up.
No,
You open the box, you've
and
got
grab
your
the dice.
dice.
Yep.
You put the dice back in the box, you shut the box and you're done. So it's good for a weeknight game. It's good for a family game. It's good just to have a couple laughs, I think.
Yeah, no, it was a really fun
It's
one.
a good game.
Spoiler, did not make my list. But I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
It's my kind of
you're
game.
chucking the dice in either soft. Basically, what you're trying to do is you're trying to make pairs. If you make pairs, you get to take the dice out, which is good for you. If it comes on an X, it gets taken out. If you knock anything else X, that gets taken out, and you just don't want to run out of your dice. It was a game that we played wrong twice, and then I realized. Then we were like, this doesn't make sense, and we missed something that said if you run out of dice, you lose. I'm like, oh, I guess you won both games. She won both games, and I actually lost both games, but we thought I had won because I ran out of dice. And I'm like, something doesn't feel right with it. Something feels weird. It just didn't. And I'm like, oh, okay, we missed the line, but we really realized that. So that is a fun one. I did like that one.
My number 3 is Strike.
My number 3 is another tile laying game. Surprise, surprise! This month we had a lot of tile laying games this month. Honestly, It's another tile laying game. It is also the first game that Stacey ever bought on her own, and this is from Devere Games, and this is Cities. Cities is a little city building game. You end up with a 9x9 tile grid. You start with one. Every round in a two-player game, you're going to get two tiles, two scoring cards, two feature tiles that go either in the land or in the water, and a bunch of buildings that you're stacking up to try and score different ways. This was a really fun game. I really enjoyed this one. I like the different cities on it. There's 4 or 5 different tiles, and we realized after a while that they're actually they were actually two-sided. So there's like 8 or 10 different cities, and each city also has some unique scoring things, which actually really were very thematic for those cities. Like, oh, you need this and this. That makes a lot of sense for that city. Oh, you need a bunch of water around everything. Oh, that makes sense for this city. It's also a game that I think could be very easily expanded. All you need is new city tiles. I mean, they could do a really small expansion. I really enjoyed that game. I said it was the first one Stacey bought. She was visiting with her sister in between here and where her sister lives in Denver, and she's like, "Oh, there's a board game store here." She went in. I think her sister kind of was saying, "Oh, let me take some pictures," like jokingly, not realize Stacey was kind of like taking part in the board game channel and like getting more into board games and stuff. And then Stacey called me and I'm like, well, these ones look good, so whatever looks good to you. And she bought Cities, and it was a hit for us. So that was my number 3.
Good choice. My number 2 is by Grandpa Bex, and it's Toils and Troubles. And I have some push your luck games kind of on my list,
Yeah,
I
you do.
guess.
Yeah.
I'm becoming a push your luck kind of gal.
Yeah.
With the games that I'm figuring out that I like. But Toils and Troubles, you are trying to collect pairs of cards without basically getting bad cards and having to give cards away or collect other.
Collect sets. It's a set collection. You're collecting sets of the same number or full set of all the numbers. Yep.
Mine's my number 2, Toils and Troubles by Grandpa Beck.
This one just missed my list. When I do my list, it's more of a how I felt about the game in that month, whereas you are just
I just pick a game.
pick a game. Pick the game she likes.
Sometimes I eeny, meeny, miny, moe it.
Which is, spoiler, why like Rolling Realms did not make my list, even though it is one of my favorite games of all time. And it's just because I played it once real quick on a live stream, so it it wasn't like a big time like, oh, I had a lot of great experiences with it during the month. So I kind of do mine based on that month alone and my experiences with it that month. So that's a good one. I like Toil and Troubles too. It's a lot of fun. My number 2, Stacey has already mentioned. It is a tile laying game that is played in real time and is about making newspapers, and that is Fit to Print. I really like this game. I like the real time aspect of it. I like the fact that you can set the time for however you want. We mentioned on Monday we did the 5 minutes, which is the kind of casual or laid back or whatever they call it, relaxed version of the game. You can do 3 minutes, you can do 3 minutes, but in that 5 minutes, you have to, with a single hand, grab your tokens or grab your tiles, see what they are, get ads, get articles, get pictures, put them on your desk, and then you have to then start making your paper, and then you have to print your paper. So there's 3 phases. Well, there's 2 phases you're really doing. The print is just you're done with your print paper, but you always think like you have a lot more time than you do. Like I'm like, oh, I got plenty of time. I can grab a couple more tiles. And then you're starting to put them together. And you're like, oh shoot, these tiles aren't really fitting together how I wanted to. And you do lose points at the end of every round, but it does for every tile you have left. But you do end up getting to start with those. So it was beneficial actually, because I had a lot more choices later on. But this was just a really fun real-time game. There was a couple times where I ran out of time and I had a lot of empty space, but I did really like that one. That one's a lot of fun. That one's from Flat Out Games with AEG. Flat Out Games, another company that's that's a pretty big hit for us, almost nonstop.
What else do they
Calico, Cascadia. I played Verdant the other day. And then we have Nocturne, and then Knitting Circle is coming out next year. So Yeah, they're a company that really has for us. We like our tile laying games. It's one of our favorites. So that was my number two, Fit to Print.
My number one, Ian's already talked about, so I won't go into detail about it, but it's cities. And I do like this game. I one of the things that I do enjoy is building your little city. I mean, that's what it's named. That's what it's called. I like trying to collect the little, what are they? I'm terrible
What's
at
the
talking.
buildings or the
The
features? The
features.
little tile features.
Yes, the little tile features and getting those in my water or in my parks or whatever. So I try and you get bonuses for those. So that's where I try and get the most points is by collecting those. But I do like cities. I like to visit the other cities and I can go to work the next day and say, hey, guess where I was last night? You know, rich people and all.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. I really enjoy that one. I like the variability with it and the different strategies and in the two-player game. So there's four different things you're grabbing, like I mentioned, in each round. If you're playing with more than four people, you're taking one thing from each before you reset, and then you're gonna end up with a 3x3 grid. So you're gonna end up with eight total tiles in 8 rounds. With a two-player game, it's nice because you're getting two things from each. I'm not sure I would like it as much at 3 or 4, simply because you're resetting that board twice as many
Mm-hmm.
times. Like, it is nice to reset that board 4 times. You play with 3 or 4 people and you're only getting one thing from each. You have 8 rounds. You have to reset that board every single time. I think that might get a little much,
Mm-hmm.
to have to reset the board every time. And I think you still get the experience of a multiplayer game because you're still getting two, and you can decide what order you want to take the stuff in. So yeah, that's a good one. I like
So
that one.
that's my number one,
Okay,
cities.
my number one, Stacey has already mentioned, and this is Disney animated.
Oh.
Um, I'm a huge Disney fan. I love Disney. It's got some tile laying. It's got some cooperation. It's got some player powers for different characters. Basically, you're trying to put together classic Disney movies. They have Fantasia, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs,
101
101
Dalmatians.
Dalmatians,
Aladdin.
Aladdin, and Fantasia.
Yes.
Fantasia. And you have 3 movie cells with characters on them that you have to put into the movie. Before you can put them into the movie, you have to collect the backgrounds to them, and those are all tiles. And you got to put those in, and then you put the movies in. You get some powers. You can use those powers later on. You're trying to earn different paint colors so you can put the characters in or use their powers. You have to do all this before the rounds are done, because at the same time, the villains are trying to stop you from completing the movie because the villains know how the movie ends and they know they do not win. So they are doing things every single round to try and block you. First time we played this, we did win, but we didn't quite do things to the best benefit. We barely squeaked by with a win. The second, third time we played this, it was a lot of fun because we finally went, okay, these powers that these extra characters that are tokens are really important. And the communication was really key to go, okay, what do you need this round? So every round we would communicate about what do you need to do? What do I need to do? Okay, I'm the first player. Okay, what am I going to do here to also make each thing a little bit more powerful? Because you have this conveyor belt
Mm-hmm.
with your actions. And if it's on 1, you only get 1 action point. But if it's on 5, you get 5 action points. So it's like, okay, you need to do that. I need to do that. Um, I'm going first, so I'm going to take this so that that moves up, so you have more action points. Or I'll be like, okay, I need to do that. Okay, so then it was the communication part and like when to use your powers or the abilities and different things. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this one. I really, really, really hope that they come out with more movies for this. Fingers crossed that they will. We'll see. We'll see.
Because
But
each movie, their characters have different
yeah,
powers.
yeah, and each
So,
one plays a little differently. And
yeah.
when you synergize with different movies, you're doing different things.
Yep, and each villain has his own power
Yeah,
of what it makes you do as well.
I think that one would actually be really fun at like 3 and 4 players
Mm-hmm.
because then you're trying to complete more movies. So I think it would be a little more exciting. Be like, okay, well, what does everybody need to do this round? So you can talk. Yeah, Disney animated, huge hit. I really hope they come out with new movies. Um, but yeah, so that was my number one for the month of November 2024. Disney animated. That was another new game. So um, I just realized I had my top five were actually all some sort of tile laying game.
Oh,
All
four.
five of them, because Disney animated has the background with tiles, Fit to Print is tiles, Cities is tiles, Maki Master is tiles, and Race to the Raft has the fire tiles. So my top five are all tile laying games this month. That
Mine
is
were three.
three. And
Cities, Disney animated, and Fit to Print.
any surprises that didn't make your top five for you?
Oh, for me?
Yes, or that did make your top five that you are kind of surprised it actually jumped into your top five or something else.
No, I agree with my top five. I'm surprised, honestly, that Strike wasn't, one or two, and that it was number three because I really enjoyed that game.
Okay. Okay.
That's kind of my thing. I'm surprised that Quicks wasn't in my top five.
Mm,
I liked Quicks.
nice, nice.
That was a fun game. So,
Let's see. Surprises for me. Um, too surprised. With it being November, that my games were pretty much all new to me games and not just games I played in a new way. Because we played some really great new games this month.
mm-hmm.
We really did. I don't think, because it is my top five, my top four were all brand new. Five was played in a new way. Six and seven were brand new, and eight, nine, and 10 were played in new ways. Um, I don't think mine. I don't think any of mine really surprised me. Not even the order.
Hmm.
Um, Rove, maybe Rove sneaking in there because I did only play it once with one of the expansions. So I think maybe that's sneaking in there over something else that I maybe played a few more times. But yeah, it was a fun month. Um, Anything on my list that surprised you? Here.
I don't remember your list. That was like 2 minutes ago. Mm, no. Well, I'm surprised at Fit to Print. I'm still surprised that that game is so popular for you. I guess I don't know. Yeah. And I'm surprised Race to the Raft wasn't up,
Higher.
like in your top three.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you really like that game.
Yeah, I do. I do. Yep. Um, I'll be honest with yours. Even though I was surprised Strike made your top five. I'm not surprised it wasn't like close, but with it just being that
A
just
dice
like
game.
dice rolling, and that's it, and you're done. Like I was a little surprised it actually made your top five, and that Maki Master did not.
It's not number seven.
Oh, I am looking at her list. I'm surprised at what
I
moved to above
know.
it. Wow.
I eeny, meeny, miny mowed some of them. So.
Oh, but anyway, that is our five and dime for the month of November 2024. We will be back next week with Wednesday with Willses. We still have not decided the theme or the games. We'll get that posted. But that will be our next live stream next Wednesday night. And then
Maybe someone has a suggestion of what.
yeah, anything you know we play that you would like to see us play, let us know. Drop us a message down below, and we'll see what we can do. Race to the Raft was actually a suggestion that I played a couple weeks ago or last week. Feels like it was a couple weeks ago already. Um, and then next Friday's Five and Dime is going to be our top new to us games in 2024 that came out before 2024. And then we're going to do a top 2024 games. I'm hoping to get one or two more to the table before I make that list. Um, and then what else we got coming up? I've got a list of some things that I want to do. I'm going to do a couple of board game arena lists, which may or may not be live. Those will be some top tens. And then I'm going to do some. I'm going to do some kind of year in review of my board game club with some top games played for the year and stuff from the end of last year and the beginning of this year, because it was the first full year that I had board game club going. Or maybe I'll just do it from the beginning of this year or something. I don't know. I'm gonna do some board game club videos. I think I did a review at the end of last school year, but it'd be kind of interesting to see for all of 2024. And then yeah, and then I think our next live after that, oh, we'll be live on January 1st, because that is our Wednesday with the Wills is 2 from now. So
Oh my gosh. They get blessed with us on New Year's Day?
Yes, they do. Aren't they lucky when they're all recovering from their hangovers from New Year's Eve? And football is on in the background, right? All the bowl games. But anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. Drop a suggestion, anything you want to see us play. We'll try and put together um, a theme or something for that night and for next week. And yeah, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. If you like this video and want to see more, please hit that subscribe button up above. And if you want to see the rest of our five and dimes, you can follow that link. Once again, this has been Where There's a Wills.
There's a play.
I'm Ian.
I'm Stacey.
And we'll see you next time.
At the table.